Sabay halina kayo, Katatay Jack, First Channel. Pag siya ay nagsasalita, maiintindihan mo ang mga balita. Mga balitang tunay na may ebidensya. Itutuwid ang balitang mali. Mga fake news. Yung mga balitang walang pinagbabasihan. Kaya makinig na kayo at magkomento at ating pag-usapan. Pinapakinggan ang opinyon mo at ito'y nirespeto. Tayo'y magtalakayan at may kantahan dito. Pantay-pantay tayo lahat kay Tatay Jack. Tatay Jack, First Channel. First Channel. Nagmamahal, loyalista ating Pangulo. Para sa bayan nito. Bayan nito. Minamahal ni Tatay Jack ang bayang Pilipino. Kaya halina kayo. Halina kayo. Mag-subscribe na at mag-bell all para sa susunod. Dapat malaman nyo. Malaman nyo. Ang balitang tunay sa ating bansang Pilipinas. Sa pinakahanapulay. Malalis sa pagmamahal sa ating mga Pilipino. Kaya tinutuwid ang balitang mali. Mga fake news. Kaya mag-rumento na at magpanongay. Pantay-pantay tayo dito. Pinapakinggan ang opinyon mo at respeto. May pinagbabasihan dito. At may kantahan pa. Kantahan dyan. Sabay dyan. Halina kayo, Katatay Jack, First Channel. Pag siya ay nagsasalita, maiintindihan mo ang mga balita. Mga balitang tunay na may ebidensya. Itutuwid ang balitang mali. Mga fake news. Yung mga balitang walang pinagbabasihan. Kaya makinig na kayo at magkomento at ating pag-usapan. Pinapakinggan ang opinyon mo at ito'y nirespeto. Tayo'y magtalakayan at may kantahan dito. Pantay-pantay tayo lahat kay Tatay Jack. Tatay Jack, First Channel. First Channel. Nagmamahal, loyalista ating Pangulo. Para sa bayan nito. Bayan nito. Minamahal ni Tatay Jack ang bayang Pilipino. Kaya halina kayo. Halina kayo. Mag-subscribe na at mag-bell all para sa susunod. Dapat malaman nyo. Malaman nyo. Ang balitang tunay sa ating bansang Pilipinas. Sa pinakahanapulay. Malalis sa pagmamahal sa ating mga Pilipino. Kaya fake news. Kaya mag-umento na at magpanunggay. Pantay-pantay tayo dito. Pinapakinggan ang opinion mo at may respeto. May pinagbabasihan dito. At may kantahan pa, kantahan. Bye-bye,
Okay. Magandang umaga, magandang tanghali, magandang hapon, magandang gabi kung saan man kayo naroon. Ito po ang inyong host na si Tatay Jack broadcasting from Lodi, California. The time now in Lodi, California is exactly 17 in the evening. Palagay ko dyan sa Pilipinas ay 10:17 po ang oras nyo sa umaga. Maganda ang talakayan natin. May mga DDS na pumasok doon sa aking replay section. Ay, as usual, nirespeto natin ang kanilang opinion at ipapublish natin. May mga hindi naman masama ang kanilang sinasabi. Meron lang ilang na nang-iinsulto pero mild lang yung insulto, so I will permit it. Pero hindi ko muna didiscussin yan. I will discuss it thoroughly pagkatapos ng mga importanteng paalala at saka news items. Pero rest assured, mga DDS, papakinggan ko ang inyong opinion. As I said, we respect your opinion. Although I may not agree, I still respect your opinion. So patugtugin natin. Nabatiin ko muna si Ubach, the moderator, si Trek Sibilya na napakagaling na political blogger. Sundan po ninyo siya. Si Reynalyn Tech, kasamang palad, parehas kami ng oras, pero ito ang aking available time lang, Ma'am Lintek. Pasensya ka na po. Oh, si Mayen nandito na. I miss you so much, Mayen. Okay? And nandyan na rin si Angeline of Hong Kong Angels, si JNL Opinion, si Ruel Lingahan, si Zenaida of Auto Supporters, at saka siyempre di mawawala po si Toblerone at saka si Raven May. So, Raven May, salamat at nakapunta ka. I miss you so much, okay? Si Mami Monique pala ang nagsabi. Okay, present muna tayo ng Philippine National Anthem. Para paalala na ko sa inyo na mahalin natin ang ating bansa kaysa sa mga iniidolong politiko, okay?
Kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Sa dibuhay, di ka sisil sa takat at bundok sa simoy at sa langit mo. Nagkitaan tulad dahil na nagawat mo. Ang bituin ng araw-araw from pamay di lupa ng araw. Hatid pagsita ay langit na pili mo. Mamindigan Ayan na pa, may mga api ang atay na dahil sa'yo. Thank you. So, binabati ni GNL Opinions si Check Sibilia. Hello, hello ulit. Mayan, okay? So, let's go. As usual, I don't begin my show unless I make some disclosures, reminders, and advices po. It will not take more than 2 minutes. Sandali lang po to. Have patience lang, okay? Ang unang dumating po ay si Zenaida Borja. Okay? Okay. Okay, update lang po, as of before I start this LS, I have already 5,826 subscribers, the highest so far. The real-time updating live is 5,826 subscribers and had 1,924 views last 48 hours, so almost 1,000 views a day. Salamat sa mga subscribers at viewers ng aking channel. Okay? So, walang fake news po dito. Totoong balita ang inyong malalaman. Ito po ay disclosure ko. Ito pong channel ko, katulad ng channel ni Rising Flag na dapat nyo ring supportahan, ay channel ng mga nagsusulong kay GIBO TEODORO for President in 2028. MAKIISA sa GIBO for 2028 for President Movement. Si Secretary GIBO TEODORO ang karapat-dapat na maging presidente sa 2028. Okay, nakita natin kahapon na siya ay pinagkakatiwalaan ng ating presidente. Okay? Ito ang channel ng GIBO TEODORO for President. Naulit yata. Okay? So ito. GIBO TEODORO tapat sa Pangulo at sa kanyang trabaho, hindi po siya nagrereklamo, matino po ang isip niya, matalino, hindi po siya unstable or unsound mind. Okay? Tulungan natin si Secretary GIBO TEODORO na makilala ng mga botante. Nag-subscribe na po kayo dito sa isang na siyang nagsusulong sa kanyang kandidatura, ang Tatay Jack's Analysis and Opinions. Okay? Okay. Ito very important. Protect BBM and our country from politicians who are only looking out for their personal interests and are without honor, integrity, and have no sense of justice whatsoever. Okay. Alam ko dyan eh. Mayroon siyang babaeng walang honor, integrity, and no sense of justice. Okay? There is no room, sabi ng presidente, there is no room in this government for anyone who places personal interests but serving the Filipino people with honor, integrity, and justice. Okay? Ito ang aking payo. Okay. Manindigan po sana lahat ng may malasakit sa ating bayan sa tamang adhikain at prinsipyo. Dapat mayroon tayong prinsipyo na tama para umunlad ang ating bayan. Anong mali sa akin sinasabi? Okay? Huwag nating tangkilikin ang mga politikong makachina at hindi matino ang pag-iisip. Kung alam mo na hindi matino ang pag-iisip mo at saka yung ibang politiko ay makachina na gustong tumakop sa ating mga lupain, bakit niyo po sila susuportahan? Yan ang tanong ko, okay? Nag-chip-chip na tayo. At ito po, ang tama ay tama, dapat suportahan at purihin, ang mali ay mali, dapat labanan at batikutin. Anong mali po dyan sa akin sinabi? Labanan natin ang fake news. Mamaya, after this, ipapakita ko sa inyo ang isang fake news na galing sa mga DDS na wala nang ginawa kundi mag-fake news. Yung balita ay tinitwist nila para palabasin na masama po at nagdrodoga ang ating presidente at saka ang ating mahal na First Lady. Okay. At taus-pusong nagpapasalamat si Tatay sa mga preferred and regular members niya. Sila po ang nagsusuporta sa akin financially. Aminin ko. Kasi kailangan ko rin ng financial help. Pero hindi ako nagpepersa. Sana madagdagan ang mga members ko. Jocario Angguluan, yes, GIBO for President. Salamat at may nadagdagan na isang pro GIBO po. Bibigyan ko ng jacket si Jucardo. Okay? Thank you, Jucardo. Dalas-dasan mo ang pagpunta dito. Pwede kang magkomento as long as po magalang. Hindi porke pro BBM ka, pro BGIBO ka, malaya ka ng mag-post ng masasamang salita. Okay, I will appreciate you if you will follow the rules of code of conduct dito sa ating channel. Pero puro matatalino ang nandito po. Okay. Taos puso pong papasalamat sa akin regular members. Maraming salamat kay Papa B, si Reyna Lintek at sa kanyang Team Lintek sa pagtulong sa channel ni Tatay Jackford. Salamat din sa Team Kulits sa Sisdet Channel, ang Hong Kong Angels na mayroon ng representative, ang Mami Buminique Barkman Channel na represented by Raven May, ang Auto Supporters at ang bago pong tumutulong sa akin, ang Team Ohio, ang dating tumutulong sa aking SSTV family. Hindi ko sila makakalimutan. Okay? Thank you sa patuloy ninyong pagsubaybay at sa pagsuporta ng mga LS ni Tatay. Okay? Okay, bago ko may mga comments ang mga DDS sa replace section. We respect their opinions po. Mamaya ko po didiscusin kasi kung didiscusin ko na lahat po yung opinion nila ay mawawalan na po tayo ng oras. Okay. Okay, hanapin ko yung news story. Sandali lang sandali. Ito po ang balita ng isang DDS vloggers. At nako, mayroon 99,000 views. Okay. Hindi tayo aabot dyan kasi dito po ayaw yata ng tao ng totoong news. Sabi dito, just in, paggawa ng pulburon sa Malacanang. Remember, sabi niya, Malacanang. Sinalakay ng NBI at ang PSG. Ang PSG, unang-una pa lang, ang PSG ay nasa Malacanang. Sasalakayin ang sarili nila. So, hindi yata nag-iisip ang vlogger na ito na mayroong 99 views. Tulad ng pulburon, nahuli. Okay. Duterte TV. DDS vlogger po ito. Totoo kaya? Kahindik-hindik na news yan kung totoo. Pero wala kang makikitang balita dyan na sa Malacanang mismo nagkakaroon ng paggawaan. Okay. Shout out po, sabi ni Raven May. Okay. Fake news yan. fake news na naman ang mga DDS vloggers. 99,000? Okay. Sabi ko, okay. 99,000, believe ako sa kanya. Ito ang tunay na balita. Kung nakikinig kayo sa mga DDS vloggers na hindi marunong mag-interpret po ng English, ay malilihis kayo ng landas. Tonto ako dito sa balitang ito. Okay, sabi ni, totoo, may nahuli sa complex. Ang complex mo ay isa para bang isang sitio yan. Hindi sa mismong Malacanang. Ang sinasabi niya, nahuli sa Malacanang. Ulitin ko, ang sinasabi ng vlogger na fake news siya, na mayroong 99,000 views, ay sa Malacanang naganap. Pero hindi po. Okay. Ulitin natin. Ito ang tunay na balita. Ulitin ko. Ito ang tunay na balita. Catch cohorts of drug suspect na near palace. Malapit sa palasyo. Ginagawa nila na nahuli sa palasyo. Marunong ba sila ng English? Anong need the palace? Okay? Kayong mga DDS na nanonood, tuwang-tuwa sa news ni whatever, Duterte TV. Yun na lang sa news. Needs palace po. Kaya peke ang mga news. Okay? Sunod. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin is yesterday called on law enforcers to run after the accomplices of a suspected drug pusher who was arrested in the Malacanang complex. Complex po. Maraming lugar yan. Complex. Hindi sila marunong ng English. Hindi nila naiintindihan ang ibig sabihin ng complex. Hindi mismo sa Malacanang. Pero malapit yan sa lugar. Nako. Okay. Edgar Ventura was apprehended at the house on Nicanor Padilla. Ang street po na pinaghulihan ay Nicanor Padilla. Tanong ko sa DDS vlogger, bakit ba? Ang Malacanang ba ay nasa Nicanor Padilla Street? Wag naman kayo banggoyo. Wag naman kayo banggoyo. Okay. Edgar Ventura was apprehended at a house. Mayroon bang bahay si Nicanor Padilla sa Malacanang? Okay. Di ba? Yung mga nagpapaniwala sa mga vloggers ng kanyan, ay dapat suriin nyo ang tuktok nyo. Suriin nyo ang yung sarili. Hindi rin pwede yung gagawin mong news story is galing sa Facebook. Kasi kung sa Facebook lang, pwedeng manipulating yung Facebook. Dapat manggaling sa credible news sources. Tandaan nyo yan. Dito sa ating channel, hindi po pwedeng manggaling sa Facebook o sa YouTube ang news. Dapat manggaling po sa credible news source. Huwag mo yung ikuko sa akin, yung mga Facebook, look at the Facebook post. Hindi po pwede yan. Marami na akong diniscount dyan. You must present credible news story which was published by credible news outlets. Okay. The rest was made as the NBI Drugs Division and Presidential Security Command implemented a search warrant issued by a Manila court. Kasali dyan ng Presidential Security Command. Bakit pa kailangan ng search warrant? Parang doon sa kaso ni Mayor Espinosa. Bakit pala kailangan nila ng search warrant sa mismo Malacanang? Ay kabobo na kulang sa katalinuhan ang naniniwala sa vlogger na ito. Hindi din sila marunong ng English. Kaya dito, walang fake news na news dito. Napapagtawanan ko lang nila. The operation was conducted in cooperation with the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency and the local police. Okay, good day, sabi ni GNL. Sabi, natatawa lang ko. Hindi marunong ng English. Sa nabasa nila, fake news tuloy sila. Okay. Diba? Fake news yan. Sasabihin mong nahuli sa Malacanang. Hindi naman sa Malacanang. Sa Nicador Padilla Street po. Anong purpose po ng vlogger na ito? Para siraan ang first family. Yan ang ginagawa ng mga DDS. Sorry na po sa mga kaibigan kong DDS. Okay. Nabasa ko na dyan. So punta na tayo sa mga tunay na balita. Okay? Okay, saan na yun? Okay. Manood muna tayo ng tunay na balita. Okay?
Magandang araw, narito na ang mahalagang balita dito sa Philippine News Agency. Isang panibagong namumuong sama ng panahon ang binabantayan ngayon ng pag-asa sa gitna ng pananalasa ng bagyong Christine. Namataan ang isang low-pressure area sa labas ng Philippine Area of Responsibility o 2,295 kilometers sa silangan ng northeastern Mindanao. Ayon sa pag-asa, malaki ang tsansang lumakas ito sa loob ng 24 oras at maging tropical depression. Tatawagin itong Leon sakaling makapasok ito sa bansa. Inaasahang papasok ito sa northeast boundary ng PAR bago lumiko papuntang Japan. Samantalang magdudulot ito ng pag-ulan sa northern at sa central Luzon. Batay din sa forecast model ng pag-asa, nasa West Philippine Sea na ang bagyong Christine at inaasahang lalabas ng PAR sa Biyernes. Mga air assets ng Armed Forces of the Philippines nakaantabay para sa rescue at relief efforts sa mga lugar na lubos na naapektuhan ng bagyong Christine. Ayon sa tagapagsalita ng Office of the Civil Defense si Director Edgar Posadas, may 17 air assets ng AFP ang kasalukuyang naka-preposition sa Villamor at Cebu, handang i-deploy sa oras na maging ligtas ang panahon. Dagdag pa rito, inaasahan din ang karagdagang air assets mula sa Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia at Brunei. Ayon kay Posadas, kasalukuyang inaayos ang mga dokumento para maisakatuparan ang utos ni Pangulong Marcos na pabilisin ang paghatid ng tulong sa mga apektadong lugar. Samantala, tuloy-tuloy na ang pagdating ng tulong sa mga lugar na lubos na naapektuhan ng matinding pagbaha gaya ng Bicol at Eastern Visayas. Mula sa Southern Luzon Command ng AFP.
The SND has already spoken to the ambassador of Singapore to the Philippines, and he also mentioned Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. These are our ASEAN neighbors, co-members of ASEAN. And he zeroed in particularly on their air assets to be used. This is in consonance with the President's guidance to try and probably try the air route to bring in more goods to the affected areas due to the roads which are non-possible. So I think as we speak, there are certain paperworks and documentations which have to be undertaken. Meron din naman tayong sarili. I mentioned 17 air assets available to us with the assets of the Philippine Air Force. And they will basically augment yung mga efforts natin, particularly on logistics run, yung mga cargo planes, cargo aircrafts that could haul yung mga mabibigat na cargo and bring them into the hard-hit areas, particularly in Bicol.
Tiniyak ng National Power Corporation o NAPOCOR sa publiko, lalo na sa mga naninirahan sa mababang lugar, na maingat at dahan-dahan lamang ang pagpapakawala ng tubig sa mga dam upang maiwasan ang malawakang pagbaha habang patuloy ang pananalasa ng Bagyong Christine. Sa isang press briefing sa Malacanang, ipinaliwanag ni NAPOCOR Flood Operation Manager Maria Teresa Sierra na binago na nila ang kanilang protocol sa pagpapakawala ng tubig alinsunod sa utos ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Anya, kung dati ay nagpapakawala sila ng tubig kapag naabot na ng dam ang spilling level, sa ngayon ay isasagawa na nila ito bago pa man dumating ang malalakas na ulan upang maiwasan ang pagbaha sa mga mababang komunidad. Ang NAPOCOR ang nangangasiwa sa 12 dam sa buong bansa, kabilang na ang 5 major dam sa Luzon, ang Angat Dam, Caliraya Dam, ang Buklao Dam, Binga Dam at San Roque Dam.
We recently amended the dam protocols po, and this is also in line with the directive of our President. So prior to our amendment, we thought it was enough that we should have a sufficient lead time on to warn the public. So it was previously around 4 hours. But right now,
tandaan nyo yan, in-amendan.
Notice on the preparatory phase for the dam discharge warning operation or yung spilling operation po na at least 24 hours, we inform the LGUs. With the recent changes po sa ating environment, so marami na pong mga, even yung characteristics po ng ating ilog, lumiliit na po yung mga capacities, ganyan. So yung pong ating protocols, we need also to amend and adjust to parang to accommodate po yung mga changes po nito. So right now, yung assurance natin is talagang as much as possible, we would like to assure the communities na minimize na po yung unless we will be experiencing yung sabihin natin na malakas na talaga na pag-ulan, that we have no other choice but to mag-release po ng malaki para to ensure naman po yung safety ng ating dams. Pero right now, ano na po tayo si NAPOCOR? Assured na po yung ating mga communities.
Handa ang Office of Civil Defense na magpadala ng may 34 na water filtration machines sa Bicol region para alalayan ang mga naapektuhan ng Bagyong Christine. Ayon kay OCD Executive Director Undersecretary Ariel Nepomuceno, gagamitin ang mga naturang makina sa mga evacuation center para tiyaking meron silang supply ng malinis na tubig. Alinsunod ito sa bili ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. na bantayan ang kalusugan ng mga evacuee. Sa command conference ng OCD kahapon, iniutos ni Pangulong Marcos na padalhan ang mga apektadong komunidad sa Bicol region ng water purifier na galing sa Metropolitan Manila Development Authority. Tiniyak din ni Nepomuceno na tinututukan nila ang pagbibigay ng agarang tulong sa mga sinalanta ng bagyo sa Bicol region, gayon din sa Northern Luzon. Sa ibang balita, tiniyak ng World Bank ang suporta sa Pilipinas sa pagpapaunlad ng sektor ng agrikultura at human capital sa bansa. Ibinahagi ito ng Department of Finance kasunod ng high-level dialogue kasama ng matataas na opisyal ng World Bank Group sa Washington, D.C. noong Martes 22 ng Oktubre. Sa naturang pulong, nangako ang World Bank na susuportahan ang mga proyektong magpapalago ng kita at pagproduktibo ng mga magsasaka. Tutulong din ang World Bank sa modernisasyon ng agrikultura para gawin itong commercially viable at export-oriented. Ikinatuwa ni Finance Secretary Ralph Recto ang pangako ng World Bank lalo na at makakatulong ito sa pagpapalago ng ekonomiya at pagbawas sa inflation. Bukod dito, muling tiniyak ng World Bank ang pagsuporta nito sa pagpapaunlad sa human capital ng bansa lalo na sa sektor ng edukasyon. Kinilala rin ng grupo ang mataas na kumpiyansa ng mga investor sa Pilipinas bunsod ng mga reforma.
Mataas na kumpiyansa.
Hiniling naman ni Recto sa World Bank na dagdagan ang tulong sa pagpapalakas ng cybersecurity sa bansa. Gayon din ang pagbibigay ng grant at technical assistance para magampanan ang mga proyektong pinondohan nito. At yan ang pinakabago at pinakamahalagang balita sa mga oras na ito, hatid sa inyo ng PNA Headlines. Para sa iba pa mga balita at informasyon.
Kung yung DDS ay nakikinig po sa balita, nalalaman nyo na ngayon na mayroon pong mga utos si Presidente Bongbong Marcos para tulungan ang mga nasalanta. Kita nyo dyan sa image, nandyan po ang ating kandidato na si Presidente GIBO in 2028. Nandyan din si Anton Lagdameo. Sila malapit na pinagkakatiwalaan ng ating Presidente. Sabi ni Batch, okay, watching the Quadcom hearing, I learned another meaning of DDSA Duterte Death Squad, okay? Kay barbaridad, diba? Marunong ng Spanish ang aking moderator, okay? Nandyan po. Pakinggan, ito hindi po nyo nakikita yata. Sorry, you didn't see the image, okay? Ito ang interview, okay? Nakikita niyo yung nasa kanan ni Presidente, si GIBO TEODORO. Ang ating kandidato for 2028. Bakit pa kayo nagdududa? At saka nasa kaliwa niya, yung pinakamalapit na kaibigan niya, si Anton Lagdameo, na still pinagkakatiwalaan ng Presidente. Tanda natin, hindi ito-tolerate ng Presidente ang corruption. So, kung alam niyang corrupt po si Anton Lagdameo, ay sisipain niya yan. Kasi malalagay sa alanganin ang kanyang salamat DENL. Nadagdagan ng isang tao, nagdagdag ng GTFP sa kanyang handle. Salamat po. Nalaking pasasalamat ko po yan. Nadadagdagan na ang GIBO TEODORO for President. Kaya example niyan. Nakita niyo yung situation briefing yesterday. Tandaan niyo. Ang sabi nila, si Vice Presidente ang unang tumulong sa Bicol. Ang source nila ay sa Facebook. Kung totoo po yan, news yan. Hindi porke sa Facebook ay garantisadong totoo. Pero ang totoo, ang unang tumulong ay ang DSWD kasi naka-preposition na. Tandaan nyo, mga DDS, naka-preposition na ang tulong po. Bago pa man dumating ang typhoon, nandan na ang tulong. Paano sila mauunahan ng Office of the Vice President? Hindi nyo ginagamit ang katalinuhan nyo. Nakakalat kayo rito ng misinformation. Sasabihin nyo nauna ang Vice Presidente na tumulong. Di dapat na news na yan kasi mahilig magpumapel si BP Sara. Okay. Pakinggan natin ang interview. Kita na. Okay.
sa program po yun. Okay. Umayag ng Kongreso or sa contingent fund.
Kita nyo, nag-uusap sila. Pini-explain ng ating kandidato for 28 kung ano ang sitwasyon. Kasi ang truly great leader is dapat alamin mo ang sitwasyon and try to solve the problem. Kaya ako tinawag na great leader niya, hindi basta-basta nagbibigay ng instruksyon na hindi naman niya nalalaman ang sitwasyon. Pero yung mga DDS, ay hindi daw niya alam ang kanyang ginagawa. Paano mo magsasabi yan? Ang hindi mo alam ang ginagawa ay kung hindi mo aalamin ang sitwasyon tungkol doon sa area. Kababaw naman ng mga argumento nila, okay? Ulitin ko, walang fake news dito. Pag nag-argue ako, parating may basihan. Hindi katulad ng iba. Mag-argue lang, pero hindi sila nagbibigay ng sapat na katibayan. Pati pag-debunk ko sa mga sinasabi ng DDS, bibigyan ko ng sapat na katibayan na mali po ang sinasabi nila. Okay?
Check. Mic check.
Ang sabi ni Ma'am Jo, dito rin, pag nag-komento, babasahin natin kagad. Basta magalang. Siyempre, matatalino ano nandito. Sigurado ko, bottled drinking water pero walang foods and support nung BP nila. Okay, despite that, Ma'am Jo, na nagbigay siya ng bottled water, palakpakin din natin ang BP. Pero wag nilang i-claim na naunang tumulong ang Vice Presidente kasi may preposition na ang ating Presidente sa pagtulong sa mga nasalanta ng bagyo. Hindi ba nila alam ng ibig sabihin ng preposition? Ang preposition, hindi pa dumarating yung bagyo, ay nandun na yung tulong. So paano mo mauunahan sa pagbibigay ng tubig? Pero palapakan din natin siya. Hindi nila alam kanilang sinasabi. Okay?
Siguro naman napanood din nyo, ganun din. What essentially what we are doing is going through our regular SOPs at maayos naman. Mukhang the department already ang nangyari.
Okay, maayos naman alam niya ang problema. Kaya he is a great leader. Hindi siya gumagalaw ng wala lang. Nang wala siyang kaalam-alam sa problema. Di ba? A sign of a great leader yan.
Talaga is that we looked at specific cases around the country kung ano yung kanilang specific na...
No, specific problems around the country. Maraming lugar, hindi lang ang Bicol. Ang tulong daw sa Bicol, ang tumulong daw sa Bicol, si OBP. Ang OBP, ang office, hindi si mismo si Sara Duterte, ha? Ito, si Presidente ang nag-aatas. Pero nasaan si BP? Ang opisina niya, okay. Iniiwan niya, sa opisina niya, ang tungkulin niya. Hindi siya nagmamando. Yan ang kaibahan ng style ng Vice Presidente at saka ng Presidente. Si Presidente ay hands-on. Si Vice Presidente ay hands-off. Basta bahala na kayo dyan. Okay?
Pangangailangan. Right now, it's really Region 5 that has
So, ang inisikaso lang ng OVP ang Bicol. Samantalang ang presidente ay lahat ng lugar na apektado ng Typhoon Christine. Okay.
first that was hit first at saka mabigat. Unfortunately, Region 5 was almost referee. Hanggang nasa gilid na nung coverage area ng storm. So pagpasok nitong center ng storm, pag-eye of the storm, papasok na sa Northern Luzon, baka maging masyadong mabigat. Kaya kailangan paghandaan na mabuti. And we are doing...
Yan ang problema. So he knows the problem. Baka masyadong mabigat. Kaya paghandaan ng mabuti. Sabi ni Ma'am Jo, some areas talaga hindi maaabutan ng tulong dahil sa severity in situations sa different region. Dito, matatalino po ang nagkokomento. Hindi basta-basta nag-aakasa. Ibahin nyo. Mamaya ikumpara nyo ang komento na nandito sa mga komento ng mga DDS. Okay?
Doing everything we can to get assistance pre-position. That's always the key.
Okay. Pre-position. Hindi alam ng mga DDS ang kanilang sinasabi. Naniniwala sila sa kanilang mga vloggers na hindi naman marunong mag-analyze. Pero na naglalakihan kanilang channel, yung siyang fake news channel nga, 99,000 views. Hindi naman marunong mag-analyze ng news. Kaya marami silang naguguyo. Kasi maski hindi fake news yung channel na yun, pinupuntahan nila. Nakakatulong ba yan sa bansa? Para matulungan natin, mag-stick kayo sa mga tunay na nagbabalita na mayroong ipinapakita pruweba. Ito, ano pang, ang sabi daw niyan, isang kwento, yung namamaga ay dahil sa pulburo, bangag daw siya. Are you a licensed medical doctor? Pero kasi ako, na-experience ko yan. Pag napupuyat ako, namamaga ang aking mga mata. Does it mean na I am bangag? Okay. Does it mean I am bangag? Kaya kayo mag-aakusa kayong bangag. Hindi naman kayo qualified mag-akusa. Ay, nandito na ang isang DDS. Matalino itong si TJ Axel. Kaya nire-respect ko yan. Ang sabi ni GNL, if you remember the OBP budget hearing 2025, 10 million is allotted for book about friendship. Who will benefit from that project? Friendship. Sambutin, sinabi mo yan. Yung nga, umayaw nga siya sa friendship ni Pbbm. Therefore, puro kasinungalingan ang kanyang sinasabi. Friendship yung book niya, pero tumatanggi siya na maging friends kay Pbbm. Si Check Sevilla binabati ni DNL, Ma'am Jo of Butch, Daniel Berry Sports, General Opinions, at saka iba pa, okay?
Well, evaluated properly, get our goods and equipment pre-position as close as possible.
Pre-position? Naintindihan niyo ba ang ibig sabihin ng pre-position? Mga kaibigan, paano mo sasabihin na una na tumulong si Vice Presidente na nagbigay lang ng bottled water? Huwag kayong magpapaniwa sa mga, alam ko yan ang sinasabi ng mga vlogger. Naguguyo kayo ng mga hindi naman matalinong vloggers, hindi marunong mag-analyze. Okay?
Without them having the risk of damage, para malapit na sila doon sa area kailangan nilang servisan pagka dumaan na yung bagyo.
Okay. Okay. Sana gamitan ng area delivery like drones to be able to deliver those ayuda boxes. Ang sabi ng isa pa, nasaan yung 1 bilyon ayuda? Tinanong isang magaling na vlogger, hindi siya nanood ng briefing. Mayroon po 1 billion 500 mahigit 1 billion 500 million ang itinalaga na ayuda, na tulong. Kahapon, di ba? In-stress ko yan. Kaya nga, kung ang pupuntahan nyo ay yung mga DDS vloggers na ang gusto lang ay manira, hindi wala, magugoyo talaga kayo at malilihis kayo ng landas at malilihis kayo na hindi po kayo magmamahal sa ating bansa dahil sumusuporta kayo sa mga taong hindi matino ang isip. Okay?
And that's essentially what we did. And again, we've included all of the different agencies. Of course, the NDRMC led by the DND, and they are prepared to provide, number one, from the AFP, airlift, kasi may mga kalsada hindi pa madaanan. And number two, they're continuing with the AFP is also continuing to monitor the situation so that we will be able to activate the EDCA sites which were put there specifically for this purpose. So,
okay. Bumirada daw si Chen Aimee tungkol sa welfare visits kasayad ka. Ito na patunay na nakakatulong ang EDCA lalo na kung mayroong mga disasters. Okay?
the other departments seem to be well prepared. We have some budgeting issues simply
shout out kay Hansi PM, isang magaling na martial instructor.
because na meron tayong napakarami ang dumadaan na bagyo. Di bale, but that's not something that we should worry about because we will be able to remedy that. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Will it be possible na ma-extend the suspension of classes and work for
Tungkol naman sa pag-aaral. Okay. Alam niya, pati yan alam niya, ma-extend daw ang school year. Kasi marami ng walang pasok na araw. Okay?
It all depends on the weather. Yes, very possible.
Okay.
Absolutely very possible. Oh, because we're losing so many days.
Yan Hindi ba great theory yan? He recognized the problem that is being asked by the reporters. Okay?
Days of work, days of classes. But what can you do? Nandiyan ang bagyo. Hindi natin naman...
Dahil dyan, hindi daw na alam ang gagawin. Siyempre, fortuitous event yan. You can never predict nung fortuitous event, something that is unforeseen. Sasabihin niya, hindi niya alam. Can you, are you a fortune teller and you know what is going to happen? Okay.
Natin nilalagay yung mga tao sa peligro.
Okay.
Sir, former Vice President Lederbread was asking for help, in particular yung mga rubber boats. How soon?
Yeah, as soon as we can get in.
Okay. As soon as we can get in, paano ka pupunta doon kung baha? Yan ang tinatarget nila. Pero nauna na yung rubber boat, nakapreposition na yung mga food packs. Pero nagbigay siya ng mga rubber boats now. Karagdagan rubber boats lang ang inaantay ni Lenny Robredo. Hindi pa sapat yun. Hindi naman basa-basa ura-urada na may dideliver mo lahat ng kailangan na rubber boats. Kababaw naman ng katilinuhan ng mga DDS. Okay?
as soon as makapasok kami, we will be doing that.
You're asking for the impossible. Okay?
And we are now beginning to marshal our assets. Like for example, rubber boats. Hanggang Mindanao, kukunin na namin
O yan, kukunin pa sa Mindanao upang matulungan ang Bicol. Okay?
namin. At dadali namin dito sa area na pangangailangan.
Nakita nyo nang tumatanggong si GIBO TEODORO because he is the one who is going to deliver the rubber boats. Okay?
We just got that report from Kamsur that half the province is underwater because
half the province is underwater. Remember, i-blame na naman nila sa Pbbm ang problema sa baha, forgetting the fact that they had 6 years altogether to solve the flood problem. Pagdating nga ni Pbbm, obsolete na yung mga flood control plans kasi because of the La Nina. Okay, napapatunayan. He revisited po yung flood control projects knowing kasi pinagtalunan naman na ito ni Ruel Lingahan. Ay tumama po si Ruel Lingahan. Kaya alam ko ang aking i-discuss. Okay?
Live in that the basin within Albay and Kamsur. Kaya yun ang talagang tinatamaan lagi ng baha. So as soon as we can, we will go in. As soon as we can.
As soon as we can. Kasi kung di naman pwede, paano ka makakatulong? Di ba? Kabobo naman ng mga nag-argue.
Kung di naman mailipad ng helicopter yun. So kailangan truck ang magpapasok.
Oh, yan no?
So as soon as mag-clear, alam naman ng DPWH ang gagawin nila at nakamonitor naman sila. Nandun naman ng mga tao nila, mga regional officers para magsabi when they can come in. So that's what we're waiting for now. So balada, we are at the mercy of the weather as we always.
Okay, yan ang sinasabi nila na hindi niya alam at ang kanyang gagawin. Kasi sinabi niya na we are at the mercy of the weather. Totoo naman eh. Kaya nga, that's the end po ng interview, okay? So, magbabasa na tayo ng mga komento, okay? Okay. Sandali lang po, yung mga DDS na nag-aabang po, ito, na hindi sasagutin ko yung mga patutsado nyo sa akin. Okay? Okay, dito po, mga comments ng mga DDS sa replay section. Okay. Sabi ko, we respect their opinions. Okay, nire-respeto ang ating ang kanilang opinion. Ang sabi ni JNL, mababasa nyo yan. Okay, i-post ko muna. Mahirapan akong bumalik. Kaya babasahin ko na. While some DDS have their eyes and ears open, others still have their eyes and ears covered. Okay. Or it may be that the lack of faculties to understand and appreciate the political happening currently. Tama na naman si Diane. Okay. Sarado daw ang utak ninyo. Pero may nagigising na raw na DDS. Palakpakan natin si general opinion. Okay. Mga comment, we respect po their opinion. Okay. Ito po ang unang patutsada. 12 hours ago, asan po napunta ang 1.4 billion pesos budget per day para sa flood control. 1.4 1.4 billion pesos budget. Ito ay nagaling sa kanilang vloggers na kinuha sa mga politikong hindi alam ang sinasabi, na 1.4 billion pesos budget per day. Bebe Soto, mayroon kang calculator? Mayroon kang calculator? Yung mga na may calculator, mag-ready ka po kayo ng calculator. Please lang, sandali. At pakakalculate ko sa inyo ang total na sinasabi niyang 1.4 billion pesos budget per day. Para tapos na itong misinformation na pinagkakalat ng mga DDS. So dapat ay manggaling po sa inyo. So 1.4 times 366 days. Per day sabi niya eh. Miss or Miss Bebe Soto, I respect your opinion, but you must know what you are saying, So, walang magkakalculate. Kasi kung magagaling sa akin ng figure, ay hindi sila maniniwala. So, 1.4 times 366 po. Ibigay niyo sa akin. Hindi ako magpo-proceed hanggang walang nagbibigay sa akin ng correct figure po. 1.4 o batch. Please do the calculation times 366 days. Bakit 366 days? Okay? Kasi leap year po ang 2024. Hindi po 365. Walang magbibigay sa akin ng figure. Kailangan ko ako ang mag-compute. Hindi ako mag-proceed. Pakitulong lang ako. Wala kang calculator. Kung alisin ko, okay. Pakitulong lang ako. Calculate nyo yung 1.4 times 366 days for the benefit ng mga DDS na hindi alam ang kanilang sinasabi, nagre-rely lang sila sa kanilang mga vloggers. Okay. Wala? Sabihin na lang natin 1 bilyon para matapos niya. So, therefore, dapat ang budget sa flood control ay 365. Unang kaso po yan, hindi po gagasohin yon every day. May mga projects po na maliit, 200,000 to 1,000 pesos. May mga budget na bilyon-bilyon. Hindi po every day pong gumagasta ng 300 ng 1 billion for 306 days po. Agreed tayo dyan mga DDS. Ngayon, kung i-multiply mo sa 1 billion na lang, hindi na 1.4 billion. Ang total na budget, therefore, of the Pbbm administration po ay 366 billion. Kung totoo po yung sinasabi ni Bebe Soto. We respect your opinion. Okay. Okay. Totoo ba? Okay. Ito po ang balita. Okay. Ay, nako. Okay. Alamin natin kung magkano ang total budget ng ng flood control ni Pbbm. Oh, ito. Mga DDS. Mga DDS. Sana nanonood kayo. Sabi ng isa niyong kampe, gumagasa daw ng 1 bilyon isang araw. Ang PBBM. So kung 1 bilyon isang araw, 366 days, ang tunay na budget po ay 366 billion for 2024. Ito ang base. The government allots of over 225 billion lang. Pag hindi po ito tunay na balita, ay buburahin ko na ang aking channel. Kaya kung magko-comment kayo, dapat alam nyo ang facts. Paano naging 1 billion a day for 366 days? 225 billion lang. Pero in-explain ko na yun prior. Pero sasabi mo dito sa aking channel na gumagasta ng 1 bilyon isang araw ang ating si PBBM. Taliwas po yan. Fake news na naman kayo. Fake interpretation of the news. Natalino po dito ang channel ni Tatay Jack First. Parating may ebidensya. Kayo, saan nyo nakuha yung 1 bilyon? Dahil sinabi ng isang politiko? Dahil sinabi ng isang vlogger nyo? Na hindi kayo nag-research? Okay. Ang sabi ko rito, there are 365 a year in 2024. So, ibig sabihin, hindi pwedeng gumasta ng 1 bilyon per day. Ibahin nyo ang Tatay Jack First channel. Okay. Si Ami Sakat. Okay. Bibigyan natin ng isang jacket po. Okay? Pasensya na kayo. Kung gusto nyo ma-educate, makinig kayo sa akin. Hindi tayo basta-basta nagbibigay ng kontra-opinion ng walang basihan. Okay, ulitin ko po. Ang sabi po ng isang DDS, nasaan daw yung 1 bilyon at bawat isang araw, siya na sinasa na ayoko kasing gawin. Okay. Nasaan daw ang napunta yung isang 1.4 pa nga eh. Ibig sabihin, ayaw nyo ibigay sa akin ng figure eh. Kung hahanapin ko, matatagalan pa ako. Ginawa ko ng simple, 1 bilyon sa araw times, sabi mo, 365. 365. But according to the GAA, Government Appropriations Act, 225 lang ang budget para sa flood control. Kaya mag-iingat kayo. Bago kayo magkomento, lalabas tuloy na kulang kayo sa katalinuhan. Punta po kayo sa page ng OBP. Makikita nyo, nakamonitor siya sa typhoon. Don't forget, may satellite office of the Vice President na binabatikos ng mga crocodiles. Okay yan. Totoo yan. Minomonitor, pero hindi niya iniimbestiga. Hindi wala yung conference na ginagawa ng ating presidente. Nagkaroon ba ng conference? Baby Soto? Sino ang mas magaling mamahala? Yung nagmo-monitor lang, yung isang taong actually finding out what is the situation on the ground. Tatawa lang ako rito. Ito may konting pang-insulto sa akin. Tawag niya sa akin. I will allow that kasi matanda na ako. Saan banda great ang leader? Lubog ba nasa ba taga Bicol? Hindi kasalanan niya ng presidente. Kasalanan niya ng bagyo na dumoble ang rainfall. Hindi mo alam? Ang great leader, kaya tinatawag na great leader, ay inaalam niya ang sitwasyon at bago siya gumawa ng hakbang. Kasi kung hindi ka magaling na leader, ay basta-basta na lang mag-uutos na kung hindi mo alam ang nasalagang nangyayari. Kulang yata sa katilunuhan ang mga DDS. Okay. Hindi alam ng Pangulo anong gagawin niya, panurin mo. Pinanood namin. Alam niya ang gagawin, pero may mga unanticipated problems. Diba? Alam niya ang gagawin na. Let's give you an example. Kinabi niya na konting-konti ng pag-release ng tubig para hindi mabigla at mabaha yung nasa ibaba. Anong hindi niya alam ang ginagawa? Ikaw ang hindi mo alam ang sinasabi mo. Dito may mga pasutsadya. Baka malabo na ang patinig mo. Ang paningin mo. Ikaw ang malabo. Ikaw hindi marunong umintindi ng matalinong sinasabi ng ating presidente. I gave you that example. Okay. There is a problem na mag-overflow po yung dam. So, ang sabi niya, unti-unting i-release. Nakita mo ba yung briefing? Okay, punta tayo. Hindi alam. Malabo ang patinig mo, paningin mo, magpatingin ka na rin. Oh, yeah. Ni-insulto niya ako. Pero mild lang insulto. That is why I allowed it. Okay. Dito po kasi walang insultuhan. Okay. Hindi may ebidensya diyan pero tinatanggihan ninyo. Sabi nga ni DNL, while some DDS have their eyes and ears closed, are opening, others still have their eyes and ears covered. Isa ka doon sa tinutukoy ng pinakamagaling na commentator in SOCMED. Okay, ito po. Lahat po ng komento doon ay aking iprint kasi wala namang sobrang pang-alipusta sa akin. Okay? Okay. Tokneneng po yan. Tililing supporter po. Okay. Okay. Sabi dito, galing naman kay Darwisa Ayuban. Sabi niya, hindi mo nakita ang OBP ang unang tumulong sa Bicol? Hindi posible yan. Kasi bago pa siya tumulong, may preposition. Narinig niyo na yan. Di ba? Huwag kayong magkalat ng misinformation dito. Paano mo maunahan ang somebody na mayroon ng preposition goods, food packs doon sa lugar na yon? kulang kayo talaga sa katalinuhan. Magsakalat kayo ng misinformation nyo. Siya daw ang nauna. Okay, ito pa. Bakit walang mabatikos sa flood control? Sabi, complete na. Yes, complete na. Pero hindi po sapat. Okay. Diyan tayo tumigil, ha? Mr. Carlos Silosia. Okay. Pupunta tayo. Lahat yan po ay sasagutin ko with credible news story. Okay. Okay. Government to revisit flood control master plan. Kababalita lang. Kababalita, Mr. DDS. Kasi kayo, hindi kayo up to date sa balita. Government to revisit flood control master plan. Okay. Ibig sabihin, yung dinatanyang mga plano sa flood control ay obsolete. Ano nga obsolete? Hindi na effective. Okay. Alam nyo ba yan, mga DDS? Nagre-rely kayo lang sa kanyang mga vloggers na hindi naman alam ang mga sinasabi nila. Ay, nako. O anong ibig i-translate mo mabuti? Bakit niya i-revisit yung flood control master plan? Kung effective po. He realizes po na yung mga master plan na naiwan sa kanya at saka yung current na master plan ng DPWH ay hindi po tama. Kailangan revisit po. Thank you, Ma'am Jo. Sobra pa pala. Kaya 1.4 billion ay lalagpas na 512.4 billion po. Budget lang ay 225 billion, Mr. or Miss Biabisoto. Mag-iingat ka in presenting data po rito. Okay, ulitin ko, yung mga nag-aakusa, bakit ano daw, hindi mapatikos? Kasi, he revisited. Remember Duterte, President Rodrigo, sorry, calling him just Duterte. Ang dating Pangulong Presidente Duterte ay may nagkaroon ng 6 na taon para solusyonan ng baha dito sa ating bansa. Di dapat wala nang mabansa na minana ni Pbbm. Sagutin nyo yan, mga DDS. It took PBBM to notice na hindi efektibo ang mga master plan na yan. So, nag-atas na revisit po ang flood control master plan. Ayan o, galing yan o. Buburahin ko na ulit ang channel ko kung hindi po totoo yung news item na yan. Kumpara nyo ako sa inyong mga vloggers. Okay. To reduce the impact of future typhoon, we will revisit our comprehensive national master plan to further improve the drainage system, construct flood barriers, enhance our early warning system. Okay. Ano yan? Alam, nakakaintindi ba kayo ng English? Ay, baka hindi. So we need to make sure that all these moving parts are in place so that we can protect our communities. Okay. Actually, over 4,000 were completed and 4,000 are still being constructed. Pero hindi po sapat yan because of La Nina. Babalikan ko ulit, mga DDS. Mayroong 6 na taon si dating Presidente Rodrigo Duterte na iniidolo nyo na magbigyan ng solusyon ng ang problema tungkol sa baha. Pangatlong taon pa lang, magtatatlong taon pa lang si Presidente Marcos. Okay. Ito ba yung Okay. Natakal ko niyan, yung unang tumulong po si Vice President, that is a falsehood po. Okay. O bakit natakal ko niyan? Ito. Ipaliwanag kung paano ginigipit nga sa budget si Vice Presidente. Sabi nga niya, remember, we can work with zero budget. Pinagbayabang mo na. So that is not a reason na valid reason na sinasabi mo. Ulitin ko. Ang sabi ng BP Sara, kung di po totoo po yung sinasabi ko, ay buburahin ko na ulit ang channel ko. Ang sabi niya, pwede kaming magtrabaho kahit walang budget. So yung rason mo ay kinokontra mo ang iyong Vice Presidente. Pero ang kalaban, bilyon-bilyon ang inaaksaya. Siya nga dyan na nakakaaksaya, nagwawaldas ang pera. May kadibayan. Kaya nga niyang mag-apipo sa kamera para sagutin kung paano winaldas yung 50 million, kung paano siya nagbibigay ng 50,000 in an envelope kay Gloria Mercado. Kaya yan, walang nagawa, napakamot na lang, hindi alam ang gagawin ng PBBM ninyo. Nakapakamot siya kasi alam niya, malaking problema yan. Pero sabi mong, ginigipit siya, kaya hindi mapagtrabaho. Sabi niya, ulitin ko, Mr. MB Combs, sabi niya, pwede siya magtrabaho kahit na walang budget, zero budget. Okay. Tungkol sa aksaya, siya po ang nag-aaksaya. Mayroon ka na bang nabalitaan tungkol na kay PBBM na nag-aaksaya siya ng pondo? Pakita mo sa akin. Okay. Hoy, anti-DDS. Trabaho lang ng Pangulo. Tama. Nagtatrabaho siya. Pero yung Vice President nyo, nung kasagsasakan ng Typhoon Karina, lumikas siya ng bansa, napunta ng Germany. Bakit anong nagawa ni Bibin? Hanapin mo yung 500 billion flood projects niya. Sinabi ko na yan eh. Patanayan mo sa akin na mayroong 500 flood projects. Buburahin ko na ang aking channel. Kasasabi ko lang na 225 billion lang ang project. Kaya huwag kayong magkakalat ng fake news and information. Pinatunayan ko na. Based on credible news sources. Ang current budget nga ngayon 227 billion for 2025. Okay. Hanapin natin sandali ang ulitin ko. Hanapin natin sandali yung budget. Ito yung MD Cons, nagkakalat ng misinformation. Okay? Ibahin nyo rito. Okay? Okay. Madali tayong mag-research eh. Okay. 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 Ang budget po, every year tumataas po. Ang sabi ko, 225 billion pesos in year 2024. Sa 2025, 257 lang billion. Saan nanggagaling yung data mo na 500 billion? Nagkakalat? Bobo ka ba? Uli-uli, kung mapupunta kayo sa aking channel, dapat solid po ang inyong mga data. Ay, nako. Ay, nako, mga DDS. Puro kayo fake news, puro kayo misinformation. Ibahin niyo rito ang channel ni Tatay Jack first. Buburahin ko na ang aking channel kung sakasakaling hindi po totoo ang aking inilahad sa inyo. Kayo, pwede niyo bang burahin ang inyong channel? Question. Hindi po natatakot si Tatay Jack. Basta magalang lang ang inyong mga komento. Kadalasan naman kasi, puro kabalbalan ang inyong mga sinasabi. Pasalamat na lang. Okay. Mga kapatid dyan na nanonood sa ibaba na hindi pa nagsusubscribe, pakiusap ko, ito ang channel na hindi po mapi-fake news. Iko-correct natin ang fake news. Iko-correct po natin ang fake news. Kaya mag-unsubscribe na kayo dito kung gusto nyo ng tunay na balita na hindi kayo malilihis. Kung gusto nyo malihis, manood ko doon tulad ng balita na fake news, 99,000 viewers na nagkaroon daw ng buy bust ng droga bust sa Malacanang. Hindi siya marunong ng English. Balik na tayo sa mga balita. Kalmate, sabi ni Botch. Kasi nagagalit ako. Sorry my friends. This kind of DDS who spout misinformation are not helping our country. Mas mahal po nila ng kanilang iniidolo. So they're trying to spout misinformation data. Pero dito po sa channel na ni Tatay Jack, ay, mayroon po tayong basihan. Hindi tayo basta-basta magugoyo ng mga DDS. Sobra na po kasi ang pag-iidolo niya sa mga Duterte. Okay. Bago po tayo punta sa natawa ako talaga ako. Okay. Nawala. Okay. Ito pa. Isa pa. Ito pa. 4,700 projects done under Pbbm watch. Despite the 4,700 project, hindi pa sapat yan. Nagkukontract pa ulit ng 4,000 under construction. Kababalita lang yan ng May 7, 2024. Kayo, may data kayo? Ang sabi dito, Marcos administration completed 4,700 control projects from July 2022 to 2024. Subject to COA yan. Makapagpapatunay niyan ay COA. while more than 4,000 are currently being constructed. Kasi hindi kayo, naniniwala kayo sa inyong mga vloggers. Madali kayong maguyo. Hindi nyo alam, hindi kayo nagre-research. Eh, kung ayaw niyo mag-research, mag-stick na kayo dito po sa aking channel. Okay? Okay. Sandali, before I... Okay, ito na yung isang balita. Ito. Tapos na tayo sa mga DDS. Okay. We respect the opinions of the DDS. Kaya lang, dapat lang mag-ingat kayo. Dapat complete po ang data nyo. Okay. Sabi ni Toblerone, okay, darkness cannot turn darkness into light. Tama ang ginagawa nyo, Tatay Jack first. Give light to fake news po. Kaya nga sabi ko nga buburihin ko ang channel ko kung mapapabulaan nila ang aking pangontra sa kanila. Karamihan kasi naniniwala sa kanilang mga vloggers na hindi naman matalino. I'm sorry to say. Pati yung mga matatalino inangahan ko dating vlogger nabobo yata. Ito ang masasabi ko. Kung alam mo na ang isang tao ay hindi matino ang pag-iisip, bakit mo susuportan? Unless, of course, hindi rin matino ang iyong pag-iisip. Di ba? Ulitin ko. Kung alam mo ang isang tao ay hindi matino ang pag-iisip, bakit mo siya susuportahan? Siguro dahil sa hindi rin matino ang iyong isip. Okay? Okay. Quiboloy. Balik sa balita. Minangyak. Higit 200 debot. Oh, wow. Avanti News, October 23, 2024. Kahapon yan. Pero importante ito. Okay. Na-discovery ng Philippine National Police sa kanilang pagsisiyasat na pinipilit gayahin ni Pastor Quiboloy na ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ ang biblical story ni King Solomon. Bakit? Marami pong asawa si King Solomon na nagkaroon ng 700 na asawa at 300 na kirida. Ang 300 na kirida is concubines po. So tama po ang reporting nila. Okay? Siniwalat ni Davao City Police Office Director Police Colonel Hanse Marantan na kausap nila ang mga dating inner pastoral ni Quiboloy na nakikinig sa mga pangangaral nito. Magaling mag-preach po si Pastor Kibbs. Okay? Believed to have victimized 200 women currently. Sa ngayon, 200 na biktima. Pero ang na-identify nila ay 68 personalities. Identified 68 female personalities of different ages who were victims of Quiboloy's sexual exploitation. Ani Marantan. Okay. Sinabi ng PNP official na brainwash, magaling mag-brainwash si Pastor Kibbs. Umano ang mga inner pastoral na ang ginagawa sa kanila ni Quiboloy ay hindi po labag sa batas kundi anaayon sa Biblia. Ginagamit niya ang Biblia para i-seduce ang kababaihan. Buti, hindi kasali ang kalalakihan. Base sa nagawang recruitment ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ, sinasala nila ang magiging miyembro. Para bang separating din. Yung mga tuta, yung mga sa separating lambs and wolves or what? Sineseparate nila. Mayroon pong prejudice na ginagawa si Pastor Quiboloy. Hindi patas po. Ang may hitsura, babae ay inaayusan para maging pastoral. Habang ang na-reject o yung hindi masyadong maganda ay ginagawang worker para manlimos. Gusto ko, kung akong babae, gusto ko na yung manlimos kaysa taken advantage of by Pastor Quiboloy. Ay sinangkalan din umano ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ the angels of death. May angels of death sila. Sila po ay talagang pumapatay para matakot ang maalagad na sumuway sa pinag-uutos ni Quiboloy. Po. Yan po ang sinasabi ng balita. Victimization continued repeatedly through the years and by generation, sad po ni Marantan. Mahabang panahon at iba-ibang henerasyon. Sad ni Marantan na napag-alamang kararating lamang mula sa ibang bansa sa Europa para kausapin ang ibang membro po doon. Nandito na po ang aking membro na si Lady Queen V. Pit Lover. Si Olivia Nazareno, bibigyan po natin ng yung jacket. Okay? Habang para kon. Okay. Ang sabi ko lang, Olivia, dito po ay magalang ang pagkukomento. Pero we appreciate the fact that you are trying to subscribe to my channel. You have subscribed to my channel. That is great news sa akin. Si Lady Queen B, good day. It's been a long time, Lady Queen B. What happened to you? I miss you a lot. Okay? Shout out to you. Okay. Balik tayo sa balita. Pati sa Europa ay mayroon siyang tistika na Ukrainian yata. Hindi ko naipapalabas kasi nahihirap intindihin ang testimonya niya. Pero siya po ay ginamit ni Pastor Quiboloy. Umarap din via Zoom ang isang banyagang babae na may alias Sofia at kinento kung paano siya pinagsamantalahan, what a word, ni Quiboloy habang nagsisilbi pastoral. Ito naman, si Quiboloy, bibigyan natin siya ng tsansan. Mariin na tinanggi ni Quiboloy ang maparatang labas sa kanya. Ay marami na pong lumalabas. Wala pong katotohanan yan. Sa kanilang sinasabi, kung mayroon pa silang charges sa criminal laban sa akin, malaya po silang mag-file ng kaso. Ay, sabi mo lang yan. At doon ko haharapin at sasagutin at sa tamang forum sa korte ng ating lupa. Ibig sabihin, insinuation, mas may nakakataas na korte. Okay. At salamat, Lady Queen B, na pagkahayag na pro-GIBO ka. Nadagdagan. Dati na po yan. Okay. Sabi ng Pastor Quiboloy. Okay. Okay, panurin natin ang video na shocking po. Okay. Pwede kayong nagkomento na.
Pastoral ni Apollo Quiboloy. Bago po siya magsimula, I would like everyone to listen to this video, to watch this video. Si Ms. Teresita, Ms. Ging, ang pinapatungkulan dito, but it will also give a sense of the threats that victim survivors face from within the kingdom. Open source po itong video na ito. In fact, galing sa public channel ni Pastor dati. So, i-play na po natin ngayon para mapanood nating lahat. Yeah.
Okay. Sabi ni Lady Queen B, busy lang po tatay. Okay? Sabi ni ang magaling na vlogger and survey conductor, si Mega Love Shot po sa lahat. Huwag kalimutang mag-like at mga kakabsat. Okay?
She contacted someone named Teresita Valdehuesa, who was a former worker here in the kingdom, who committed lapses of fornication with many, many ministers and men. That is why she was...
Fornication, siya gumagawa niyan eh. Yun nung gusto nang umalis, ay pinagbibintangan niya kung kanino lalaki, daw, nakipagtalik ang babaeng si tinutukoy niya.
Supposed to be disciplined, but she went out. This Alina Ostapchenko is saying things against me, and we were able to record every bit of what she said. Listen to her voice. Everything that you have said to Teresita Valdehuesa, who's a former worker here, who also backslid because of some lapses in immorality, will give you a sample of her voice that was recorded. Go.
I'm fine, dear. I remember you, Bayo. And I'm so glad that I'm already out of the kingdom. And it's a miracle that how I exit from there. Because the time, kasi I was so fanatic before. But when, time passed, I realized many things I can also share with you if you like. Asked me if I'm ready to dedicate my life. I said yes, because for me, I was thinking dedicate to God, so I never think about other stuff. And suddenly, he was on me already, and he was trying to pull my pants.
Grabe, no? Walang pasintabi. Gusto nang pagsamantalahan ang banyaka.
Already off. And then things started to happen, and I understand that, oh my goodness, it's like I have to switch off my mind. I will not question, I will not ask if it's Father's will.
So, nagpaubayan na lang siya. But he was shocked. Kasi malakas ang personalidad ni Apollo Quiboloy. Okay?
In my mind, that time, I will just not try not to feel anything like that.
Para bang, sige, okay, manhid na lang ang pakiramdam niya. Pero pwede siyang gumawa ng kalaswaan sa kanya dahil naniniwala siyang he is the appointed son of God. Okay?
I was shocked by what's happening in the room.
You have to prove that in court, because this is an international ministry, and I have an international reputation. You will be sued by the kingdom in all places that you've called. We will not let this pass. Teresita Valdehuesa will be part of this. So better get your lawyers and defend yourself. We have lawyers all over the world, wherever there is a kingdom.
Ang yabang pa niya, no? Kasi balaka siya because of SMNI.
We have a general counsel in the name of Attorney Michael Green. In America, we have 18 lawyers who are observing all the happenings.
Bakit ayaw mong mapunta ng Amerika? Mayroon kang 18 lawyers. Okay? Ginabati ni Ma'am Jo si Lady Queen B, ni Fetlapper, binabati ni Lady Queen B si Ma'am Jo. Okay?
Happenings in the kingdom. We have financial consultants. We have lawyers who will defend the kingdom wherever it is being attacked.
For the record po, yung pastoral na binanggit dito, si Ms. Alina, she gave her consent also to the playing of this video in this hearing. So, Ms. Teresita, meron po kayong testimonyang hinanda. Pwede nyo na pong basahin. You have the floor.
Okay. Pakinggan natin to. Ito po ang tinutukoy ni Pastor Quiboloy. I was trying to play this last time pero nagkaroon na barya sa video. Kaya hindi ko naituloy ka. Again, I hope wala nang barya. Okay?
Good morning po, Madam Chair, Honorable Senator Riza Hontiveros, and to Honorable Senator Francisco Tolentino, and to all the members of this august body. I come here today.
Yeah, magiging shocking talaga mga kaibigan, mga subscribers. Hindi ko po iniimbento, kayo na ang humusga. Kasi dito, walang fake news. Puro totoong news ang ating nakikita. Hindi po to galing Facebook. Ito ay galing mismo sa public hearing. Hindi po tayo nagde-defend sa YouTube channel o sa Facebook. Kailangan credible news outlet ang pinanggagalingan. Ano pa ang credible news outlet po? Hindi ang House of the Senate. Okay?
To share the truth that has been silenced for 3 decades because of great fear.
3 dekada, I mean 30 years po.
And this is also on behalf of the many victims who have suffered in silence just like I have. I believe my testimony reflects their pain, struggles, and resilience. While I understand that this is aimed to aid in legislation, I am also grateful to be given this opportunity to inform those who still believe that Apollo Quiboloy has been innocent of the crimes he is accused of because he has never been. At the age of 17, I became a member of the church led by this man, Apollo Quiboloy, in 1918.
17,
I was a freshman student. I was eager and active in the community, even spending a significant portion of my college years living at the parsonage where he resided. In 1988, I made a difficult decision of my life to dedicate this to his ministry, driven by the belief that true fulfillment and salvation lay in serving God fully. This choice meant leaving behind my family, my career, and the person I once was. Despite the resistance of family and friends, I pursued my conviction, my life, to dedicate this to his ministry, driven by the belief that true fulfillment and salvation lay in serving God fully. This choice meant leaving behind my family, my career, and the person I once was. Despite the resistance of family and friends, I pursued my conviction. I joined a pioneering group that struggled to meet basic needs, but my desire to serve God fueled my persistence. Over time, I gained his trust and became a respected worker within the ministry. As the ministry grew, so did our blessings. We experienced answered prayers and expanding membership, which deepened our commitment to serving God. Apollo C. Quiboloy, whom I revered, was considered as God anointed, and his words held absolute authority. I respected him deeply, viewing him as truly the man of God. From the moment I dedicated my life to the ministry until 1993, I experienced a profound spiritual awakenings. I felt forgiven, my love for God deepened, and I was proud to serve alongside a man I believed to be holy. But one day while in Manila, I received a long-distance call from him. He informed me that he had received a divine revelation intended for me and instructed me to travel to Cebu where he would share this important message. He was also scheduled to preach in Cebu that Sunday.
Ah,
Upon arriving in Cebu City, we arranged for him to stay at the Park Place Hotel in 20 Osmeña. That evening, he instructed me to remain in the hotel, while Nilda Linda, the assigned worker, returned to the worker's house. When we were alone, I asked if I could just sleep on the sofa as it was a suite room. Instead, he insisted that I would sleep beside him and even said in Bisaya, compatible gyud ta ging kay parehas man og color ang atong suot. Translated, we are compatible because our outfits were of the same colors. I was wearing red pajamas with white dots, while he was dressed in a red t-shirt and white pants coincidentally. His words made me feel uneasy and quite nervous, and I saw a different personality in him. But I was quick to dismiss that unusual feeling. And because I had previously witnessed Ingrid Canada or ICC, Teresita Dandan, TPD, and Relina Salinas slept in his room alternately, it led me to believe that it was just normal and harmless. Moreover, we had been conditioned to suppress any negative thoughts about him. We were warned that any suspicion on him would reflect our own personality, using the words found in 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 15, I quote, "To the pure, all things are pure. But to those who are corrupted and do not believe, nothing is pure. In fact, both their minds and consciences are corrupted," unquote. And in those days, absolute obedience was a must. We needed to have an unquestioned loyalty and reverence toward him. Sleeping beside a man I believed to be chosen by God was for me then a great privilege, an opportunity for a sinner like me. But what followed shattered my sense of faith and trust. Without a word, after turning off the light, he embraced me, undressed me, and violated me with his lustful act, and left me in shock and speechless. He then said, "This is the fulfillment of God's revelation." He explained that God had revealed to him that I was to partake in God's life through him by surrendering my body, soul, and spirit. He also mentioned that other girls would go through him in a similar manner.
Sabihin mo, sinabi niya na hindi lang siya, but ibang babae rin. Ang tapang ng apog, no?
His words were strange.
Ang sabi ni Toblerone, false prophet, maniakis. Correct.
But I was too shocked to respond. The following day after that Sunday's worship service, Apollo C. Quiboloy left for Manila, while I was left to carry on with my duty.
Ulitin ko, walang fake news dito. Kaya lahat po dyan nanonood, prati, kailangan mag-subscribe na kayo. Tulungan nyo ang aking channel na hindi nagpe-fake news. Okay?
Including organizing carolers for our annual fundraising. Confusion consumed me. I felt betrayed by my faith, by him, and even perhaps by myself. I began questioning whether what had happened was indeed God's will or simply a gross abuse of power.
Abuse of power, ha?
When I returned to Manila, I was once again instructed to sleep in his room. Fear gripped me, but defying the anointing of God was unthinkable. We had been told that such disobedience would invite.
Okay. He deceived his followers arrogant. Okay, correct?
A curse. The next morning, he asked if I understood God's revelation. I remained silent, unable to process what had happened. He then referenced me to Philippians chapter 2, verses 6 to 12, explaining that just as Jesus humbled himself and obeyed God, even to the point of death, so he too must obey God's will by partaking in carnal things. He claimed this was necessary for him to understand the human experience and to fully empathize with others. He even told me that he had also...
Makikita niyo ang husay niya mambola. Mambilog ng ulo ng isang kanyang binibiktima.
So been reluctant to accept God's revelation, but as God had chosen one, he had no choice but to act on it. I was more confused with his explanation, but I could not complain. I wanted to go out from the ministry, but I lacked courage. I did not know where to ask help. I had cut all the bridges behind my life, and I could hardly go back because it would mean starting all over again. My family was poor, and I had no connections. My option was to stay because I was still bothered with what if it was indeed God's will. December of the same year was an escape for me. Caroling as one of our sources of funds, and which had been participated in by every member of the ministry all over the country, became my excuse of staying away from the worker's house in Manila where he stayed. In January 1994, I was in his room with Ingrid Canada, the international coordinator of the church, President Dan, the national administrator for the church in the Philippines, and Felina Salinas, his personal assistant. During that
Miss
meeting,
Teresita, before you continue po, yung nabanggit nyo ng 2 beses, Ingrid Canada, nandito po ba siya sa harapan ninyo?
Yes, katabi po siya ni Mr. Quiboloy.
Sila po, yung nagtaas ng kamay. Alright, salamat po. Please proceed, Miss Teresita.
During that meeting, he informed the girls that I would be included in the inner circle. Right there and then, I realized that these women had likely endured similar experiences. Without any words, we shared a mutual understanding. None of us dared speak about what had happened to us. In February 1994, I was sent to Hong Kong, still carrying all the confusions and emotional turmoil. Despite this, I continued to pretend that everything was fine. When one of our musicians, J.C. Pangilinan, was scheduled to return to the Philippines, I seized the opportunity to send a personal letter to ACQ. In that letter, I poured out my feelings, openly expressing my emotional distress. I was honest about how deeply shocked I was to learn of his life beyond the pulpit. The man I had revered as a holy figure was in reality an ordinary mortal, one who had exploited my genuine commitment and dedication to God. My faith wavered, and everything I had once believed was shattered.
Grabe, no?
I prepared myself for a harsh response, expecting a violent reaction from him. To my surprise, there was none. Instead, I was sent back here. Upon my return, I was even more surprised to learn that I had been promoted. I was appointed National Crusade Coordinator, National Logistics Coordinator, and Luzon Area Administrator all at once. This was a sudden and significant promotion from my previous role. By God's grace, I excelled in all my assigned tasks. Despite this, fear gripped me every time a full of Quiboloy would come to Manila. My only relief was when one of the girls would accompany him, giving me an excuse not to sleep with him. I kept myself busy, visiting satellite churches to distract my confusion and agony. One day, ICC confronted me saying, ACQ sensed my distance. I made my work an excuse. February 15, 1998, ACQ used me again. It was always out of fear that I obeyed. A fear mixed with anxiety that he might knew how I pretended to be extremely grateful that he allowed me to be a part of his physical life, because in all honesty and God truly knew I was not. All the pent-up emotions suffocated me that on the following day, while preparing for church, I collapsed. ACQ performed mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but later I learned, he told others, that it was just a way for me to seduce him, labeling me as Jezebel the Temptress. I believe Apollo carrying Quiboloy understood that I never wanted the life he was trying to impose on me. My decision to dedicate my life to God's service was driven by a sincere desire for spiritual purification from the sins I had committed before becoming a full-time worker. I had only one goal, to live a holy life and obscenity to attain heaven. As the Bible says in Colossians chapter 3, verse 5, I quote, "Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature, sexual immorality, impurity, lust." But how could I achieve this with the circumstances that I was in? Disobedience and complaints were never an option. Anyone who did so was labeled as carnal, as someone who did not overcome the flesh. Everything was always twisted. One day, ICC said, "Sir has noticed that you've been distant." I made up excuses, trying to avoid the truth. I had been telling President Dan that I was extremely exhausted. She presumed that I was just too focused of my responsibilities, especially in the logistics department. I was always pressured to meet my 15 million quota.
Grabe. 50 million quota every day. So, kung 50 million quota every day, times 365 days, i-multiply mo nga ulit, Ma'am Jo, kung ilang billion yan. Every year, no wonder, ang yaman-yaman ni Pastor Quiboloy. 50 million a day. Kay Leticia, kay Ma'am Leticia lang. Paano pa yung mga ibang mga alipores ni Pastor Quiboloy? Kumpitin nyo nga. 50 million times 365. Isa lang tao yan, ha? Siyempre, mayroon siyang mga palimos yung taong yan. Siyang head. So, kaya pala mayaman si Pastor Quiboloy.
Every December on caroling season, if ever the sense that there was really something wrong with my belief, I was instructed to prepare my documents for my USA visa, and I believe realization came later when I already left from his group, that it was also to distance me from the workers and members here that I might be able to tell his dark secret. I never wanted to go to America because inside of me were unresolved spiritual issues, confused mind that bothered me always. But my visa was approved. I didn't know that I was to lead and plan for the fundraising to be done in America, and we would employ the same strategy of our money making here in the country. In America, I witnessed the double standard life. What we prohibited in the Philippines, we did them there. We lived in luxury. We toured around. We dined in fine and expensive restaurants. We watched movies. Sky's the limit when they went shopping. I decided to stay in the apartment where the minister and his family lived. Despite the insistence of ICC to stay with them, I refused. I made a lot of excuses. Sapagkat, hindi ko po natin na kaming nasa Amerika ay masyadong nagpakasasa sa paggasta sa pera na masyadong pinaghirapan ng mga kapatiran at ng mga full-time workers. Bilang namuno po sa crusades, evangelism at logistics departments, saksi po ako kung paano nagsakripisyo ang bawat isa para lang makapagbigay sa iba't ibang pangangailangan sa simbahan.
Salamat, Batch. 18 billion, 250 million. Grabe. Isang taon yan, ha? 18 billion ang kinikita ni Pastor Quiboloy sa isang tao lang. Sa buong taon. Kung 15 million yung quota, siyempre, sometimes you reach your quota, sometimes you go over your quota, but that is the average. 18 billion? Ako. Kaya he can afford to magsuho sa mga politiko. Kaya yung mga Duterte, talagay ko, are interested in financial health. Kaya maski alam na siguro na hindi na matino yung ginagawa ni Pastor Quiboloy, ay sinusuportahan pa nila dahil sa yaman ni Pastor Quiboloy. Pananaw ko lang yan po, ha?
Nakita ko na kahit pambili ng bigas ng membro, kailangan sakripisyo pa para lang may bigay sa simbahan kahit gugutumin pa ang mga pamilya. Nasaksihan ko po na kahit last centavo para pamasahe, kailangang ibigay pa rin. Bahala nang maglakad papuntang simbahan ang mga mahihirap na membro. Hindi kinaya ng aking konsensyang double standard life. Maraming workers ang napalo dahil sa panunood na ng sine, pero kaming sa Amerika, halos linggo-linggo nanood ng sine, bawal sa amin ito dati. Naghirap ang maraming workers at members sa pagkaruling at pagsulisit sa bawat tao sa lahat ng dako dito sa ating bansa. May namatay, may na-aksidente, may nakulong, may na-narrate pa na hindi na na-report. Dahil baka hindi paniwalaan at baka makapag-fasting pa dahil may kasalanan na itinago, kaya napahintulutan nangyari. Lahat may kota, di ba? Napakasakit po sa damdamin ko dahil ako po ang namuno sa mga fundraisings. After December season, ang mga members kailangan magtinda ng mga kakanin para may bigay sa mga pledges for Alay kay Kristo, building funds, love offerings, television pledges, tithes and others, and when they could not provide for their own foods, they would just resort to fasting. Meron din pa akong quota, 10 to 15 million pesos to raise in the month of December alone. I organized the carolers nationwide to meet my quota. We recruited and trafficked our young people from Mindanao and Visayas to carol in the provinces of Luzon and in the national capital region cities. Marami pong estudyante na Nobyembre pa lang kailangan nang mag-absent sa paralan at ang iba hindi na nakabalik sa pag-aaral dahil inuna ang simbahan, inuna ang pagkaroling, inuna ang paghanap ng pera. But nobody questioned where our income was. Sa mga buwan ng Enero hanggang Oktubre, ang ibang workers na nasa logistics department kailangan magsulisit na naman throughout the country using the permits of the different associations. Pag-asa ng buhay, Children's Way Foundation, tulong sa may kapansanan, handog ng pagmamahal, pagdamay sa dukha, Shivers for Christ. The supposed income na dapat ibigay sa mga beneficiaries, sa mga nasabing associations, hindi naman talaga truthfully and honestly na ibigay. Only a little portion of the income was shared to the beneficiaries. Ang ibang workers naman, walang hinto sa pagtinda ng mga kakanin na may quota of 500 to 1,000 pesos a day, Monday to Saturday. Ito ang buhay ng mga workers na nasa logistics department. In America, they began to notice my indifference. ICC called my attention, stating there were reports from my assistant in the logistics department in Manila that I had secretly sent money to my family. Then, she informed me that ministers wrote letters to ACQ and reported that I tempted and fornicated with them during my visits to their satellite churches. I also shocked to learn the sudden accusations. I also wrote a letter and enumerated the real circumstances of my life with all the ministers I came in contact with in relation to our aggressive fundraising, being the National Logistics Coordinator. However, that was not enough. I was then forced to write a long letter of confession, making it appear that I was a sinner who committed all kinds of sins, including those I had committed before joining the ministry. I complied, believing that through this written confession, I would be totally forgiven from my old sins and burdens and be completely sanctified. In detail, I wrote everything I thought was considered sin I had committed from childhood until the present. I also implicated ACQ in my sins. It had the same tenor of the letter I wrote in Hong Kong in 1994. And this time, he was furious. Then ICC instructed me to revise my letter. I was told not to implicate ACQ and to state that I was the sole sinner and I was filthy. Upon realizing how angry ACQ was, I revised my letter out.
Dumating na si Infinite Streams na kagrupo ni Rising Flag. Suportahan po natin ang channel nila sa Rising Flag TV po. Siya po rin magaling na commentator si Infinite Streams.
Out of fear and stated that I had sinned because I truly was filthy. In detail, I imagined scenes.
Ms. Teresita, yung paulit-ulit yung binabanggit na ICC, sino po yun?
Ingrid Chavez Canada.
Sila pa rin po. All right. Please proceed.
In detail, I imagined scenes and made it appear that I had committed them all. That was how stupid I was to obey and exaggerate my story. Just to appease the anger of our leader, Apollo C. Quiboloy, not knowing it would become my death sentence later. My exaggerated story was then distributed to all his leaders and ministers, and they believed I was filthy, I was perverted, and I was wicked, painting me as the sole guilty party, while ACQ remained innocent. Little did I know this confession would lead to my condemnation within the ministry.
And Ms. Teresita, pag sinasabi nyo ACQ, sino po yun?
Apollo Carrion Quiboloy po. October 15, 1998. I was sent back here to receive a punishment through prayer and fasting in the guise of spiritual discipline. And the fasting they planned for me was beyond my imagination. It took me 7 months to suffer hunger and isolation in the mountain of Tamayong in Kalinan, Davao City. They placed me in a small, dark, elevated room beside the kitchen, separated only by a mat and walls. My bed was rough, made of uneven slabs, with exposed nails pressing into my back as I slept. I woke up this morning in pain, with no beatings, and the cold October nights left me shivering. I requested a blanket and a mat, but I was denied. Every day from 8 to 5 p.m., I followed a strict routine, regardless of the weather, enduring hunger and isolation. No one allowed near me, as I was labeled filthy and deserving of this punishment. Members were forbidden to speak to me. I was physically very weak and so depressed. I prayed that God would just take my life. Ilang beses po ako nanalangin na sana kunin na ng Panginoon. I started to question God and wondered if this was truly a divine process or simply human punishment. I asked myself, is this ACQ's way of retaliating because I rejected the life he imposed on me? It felt like vengeance and disguised as spiritual discipline. My only solace came from reading the Word of God from Genesis to Revelation over and over again. Every day was a struggle of faith. I struggled to believe that the process was still the perfect will of God for me. I struggled to believe that I really was a sinner and that I was recuperating from my spiritual disease with a lack of faith. That was to justify my present pains and at least lighten my burden. On January 8, 1999, I gave ACQ a resignation letter and I requested for a fare so that I can travel back to my home in my province. He did not approve my resignation letter. I pleaded to Ingrid, and like a child, I cried for help. But she remained untouched, telling me that it was a divine process. After that conversation, misery doubled. I had no money, and I was still physically weak, so there was no way for me to go out from the compound of the prayer mountain. Waiting for the restoration was the only alternative at the moment. If not for the comfort
Grabe talaga, no?
God, surely I would be totally gone out of my mind.
Ewan kung bakit yung
They
mga...
continually accused me of sins they alone knew and imagined that would always lead me into fasting. It eventually hardened my heart because I started to realize that the purpose of doing it was to totally break me down and to even slowly kill me. I no longer saw the reason to stay. I submitted my resignation as a full-time volunteer worker for the second time. But Apollo Caryon Quiboloy refused it again.
Bakit ni-refuse niya?
On September 30, 1999, I decided to leave without asking for permission, determined to free myself from his control. It was only when I left out of the group, that I finally clearly understood that the man I had believed to be God's chosen and holy was an impostor, oppressor, and deceiver. He manipulated me, using his authority and power as God's anointed. I thank God that He took me out from His bondage, from that ambiguous feeling of fear mingled with so much love and loyalty to my Redeemer, Jesus Christ. But He was not finished with me and did not stop terrorizing me. Alex Camia, his personal bodyguard, a full-time worker, once known to be a champion in gun shooting before he joined the group of ACQ, together with his team, kept coming to my place to harass me, serving a fake warrant of arrest to a minister who stayed in my house. This minister settled in my place after he was gunned down in Davao City but survived. The team of Alex Camia was apprehended, and when investigated, they had several firearms in the car, several plate numbers, and there was also a red plate. The registered owner of the car was Apollo C. Quiboloy. Because of their failure to serve the warrant of arrest, they blamed me for hiding the minister and filed cases against me of obstructing justice and grave misconduct and an act unbecoming a public official. After that incident, I heard that Alex Camia was the suspect of the murder of an ex-worker who was shot down inside his home, and this ex-worker did not survive. I was scared to death when I heard this news. My option was to remain silent, because killing could have actually happened when Camia and his group came to my place. There was also an ex-worker, Elsa Bolivar, who was a senior citizen, a woman shot dead while she was in her garden in Tagum City. I was so hysterical when pictures of her bullet-ridden body were sent to me because she had just visited me in my place before it happened. Fear consumed me and I remained silent. 3 years ago, nagkausap po kami ni Alex Camia. Humingi po siya ng kapatawaran at nagsabi na siya ay nautusan lang po na kailangan din akong iligpit. Pinaniwala ko siya na ako ay may malaking kasalanan at ako ay napakasamang babae. Nang tinanong ko kung ano ang aking kasalanan, sinabihan daw siya na tinukso ko raw si Apollo Caryon Quiboloy. Nakiapid daw ako sa...
Very telling po yun sa analysis ko. Tinukso siya ng babae, hindi na nalabanan ang tukso, and he was the appointed son of God, and he is supposed to be holy. Hindi rin matalino itong si Camia. Ulitin ko, ang correct analysis ko, tinukso daw ng babae si Pastor Quiboloy. It means na hindi po holy si Pastor Quiboloy. Remember po si Jesus Christ when he was being tempted by the devil, when Jesus Christ did the 40 days fasting. He resisted, Jesus Christ resisted the temptation ng demonyo. Ibig sabihin, because he is holy or he was holy. Ibig sabihin nito, nagpapanggap si Pastor Quiboloy na holy. Hindi pala siya holy kasi hindi siya ma-resist ang temptation ng isang babae. Okay? Sino kukontra sa aking analysis?
Sa mga ministro, narinig naman po ninyo yung sa video, nakipagtalik daw ako mismo doon sa workers' house at nagnakaw daw ako ng 3 million pesos. He even said in Bisaya, di ba nagtugot man ang Ginoo pagpatay sa dautan? Doesn't God permit the killing of the wicked? Doon ko lang naintindihan na kailangang i-declare ni Apollo Quiboloy sa lahat ng mga workers at members na ako'y makasalanan at napakasamang babae para magiging makatwiran ang lahat ng parusa na binigay sa akin at magiging makatwiran din kung bakit ako kailangang patayin. Apollo Quiboloy called me Jezebel, the temptress, using his pulpit to broadcast how filthy and evil I was. This became a pattern. Kung may mga workers na may alam sa kanyang buhay, sa sikretong buhay at aalis sa kanyang kingdom, sila ay akusahan ng napakaraming kasalanan. He would always exaggerate their weaknesses at ipaniwala sa mga workers at members na sila ay umalis dahil may mga marumi, mga napakasamang mga tao. His followers only heard his side of the story, which was always filled with lies and twisted truths. The other side, our side, was never heard and was never allowed to be heard. They only believed whatever he fed them and even defended him and attacked those who defied their leader without investigating the truthfulness of the circumstances. Nakita naman po siguro natin kung paano siniraan ng mga workers at defenders ni Apollo Quiboloy ang mga testigo dito. Mga napakasamang descriptions para lang ipahiya ang mga nagsalita ng kanilang mga karanasan sa loob ng kanilang kingdom. Mga salitang hindi nababagay sa mga tinatawag na mga citizen ng kingdom of Jesus Christ. Their intention is only to demoralize and warn others of the consequences of defiance. Last August 2021, during one of his television programs, he once again maligned me, broadcasting nationally and internationally that I was a fornicator and an immoral woman, which we have just watched. Madam Chair, I would like to remind Mr. Quiboloy to remember the biblical stories about the lives of King Nebuchadnezzar, King Sennacherib, and King Herod. All of them fell into the hands of the Lord. Nebuchadnezzar, you know that, was separated from his people and lived like a beast and ate grass for 7 years. King Sennacherib died a tragic death, murdered by his own sons. King Herod was struck by the angel of God, died, and his body was eaten by worms. Their sin was that they replaced God with themselves, considering themselves as gods and blaspheming the one true God. This is all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Salamat po.
Okay. So, hindi ko na pahabain yun. Kasi mahaba pa yung susunod eh. May get na 2 oras na po tayo. I will play the next shocking detalya na ginawa ni Pastor Quiboloy. I'll give you a sample. Grabe ka, Pakyu. Namuhay ka ng marangya kapalit ang paghihirap ng marami. Pagbabayaran mo yung lahat ng kasamaan mo kung ano ang yung tinanim ay iyong asahan. Okay, yung susunod na video, sandali lang, preview lang ng susunod na video po. Okay? Kasi masyado nang mahaba. Okay? Preview lang po ha. Hindi ko na tatapusin. Okay? Ito, galing naman sa kapulisan.
Si General at kayo, sir. At si Colonel Marantan. All right, so the three gentlemen. General, pagtatanong ng chair sa inyo.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Salamat, Colonel. Marami ding vloggers na nagulat ng, ito na po. O sige, suspend ko muna yung pagtatanong sa inyo, Colonel. Balikan po natin yung slide na pwedeng kayo rin po, Colonel. Sino pong magpe-present ng slide ni General? Kayong dalawa po. Si General at kayo, sir. At si Colonel Marantan. Alright, so the three gentlemen. General,
will do the honors now.
alright. Colonel Marantan, you have the floor po.
Madam Chair, please allow me to read some lines of this prepared opening statement by the DCPO. So, I will cover about 4 slides there, and i-cover ko yung magbibigay ng statement ng member of the pastoral. So with that, after nearly a month of daily attempts to arrest Pastor Quiboloy and his cohorts inside the KODC compound, which is 30-hectare property in Davao City, on September 8, 2024, he was arrested by the PNP. After various dramas have been witnessed by the public in relation to this arrest, and a number of victims of Quiboloy have slowly surfaced, approached us and given significant information about the illegal activities of said personality committed repeatedly over the years. With the painstaking efforts made by the law enforcement agencies, significant revelations were made to our investigators which are relevant to the prosecution of Quiboloy and his illegal activities, particularly in the highly technical scheme qualified trafficking in persons committed by him and his cohorts. These reports were voluntarily offered by the victims to the PNP with high hopes that justice will be served on the victims who were lured by Quiboloy and his victimization. The revelations which likewise appear to be consistent based on facts led to our investigation on the so-called agents of death, whom Quiboloy exploited to infuse fear among his victims. As we speak, the PNP, with the constant collaboration with different units, are working together to complete the picture of the dynamics of Quibuloy's illegal activities perpetrated over the years. Today, we will also be hearing corroborative statements from one of the victims whose youth has been robbed because of his illegal scheme. With our goal to help this committee identify loopholes and tools for improvement for the Republic Act 14664, for the expanded anti-trafficking law and other related laws, it is likewise our end goal to build up airtight cases that could lead to successful prosecution of cases against
Yan. Papakita ko yung but that will be po sa next LS ko. Kasi masyado nang mahaba. So dito po na magtatapos ang aking LS. Salamat po sa mga nanood po. And magtiyaga po kayo sa aking channel because you are assured na hindi po nagkakaroon ng fake news dito sa channel ko. Okay? So, update lang po. Update lang po ito. Ang update sa mga nanonood. Salamat po. In your panunood at pagsusubscribe sa channel na walang fake news. ito po ang current na kapapasok lang. Ang aking subscribers lang ay nagdadagdagan ng marami, 5,841. Ang viewers ko ay kanina less than 2,000, ay ngayon ay 2,672 last 48 hours. So every day, kung di-divide mo by 2, that is 1,376 ang nanonood sa akin for the past 2 days, every day. Salamat po. Ang sabi ni TODORO, okay, pwede natin i-print yung sinasabi niya. Okay. Grabe ka, Pakyom. Namuhay ka ng marangya, kapalit ng paghihirap na marami, correct? Pagbabayaran mo lahat ng kasamaan mo, kung ano ang iyong tinanim, iyan din ang iyong aanihin. Very well said po, TODORO. Okay? Ni-refuse niya po tatay ang resignation dahil siguro mawawalan siya ng organizer ng charity. Mawawalan siya ng laruan. Okay? Ang ngalinaw na may sapakat siya sa Davao ng malaking politiko. Okay, believe din ako dyan. Kaya nagagawa niya lahat ang kahayupan. Okay. Last po, hindi huli si Quiboloy. Siya ay nahuli ng mga TNP. Okay. Maganda po yung punto niya, punto ni Quiboloy, malinaw na may kasabat siyang malaking politiko. Dito, napatunayan natin na, maski hindi pa napatunayan, pero pinakita na maraming testigo ang kabugtutang ginagawa ng pastor ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Analisahin natin. Ibig sabihin, yung kabugtutan, ibig sabihin, hindi po matinong tao. Ito po ay masamang tao po. Okay. Kung ikaw, alam mo na itong mga nangyayari, at alam mong hindi po matino si Pastor Quiboloy, at dinidepensahan mo pa rin si Pastor Quiboloy, ibig sabihin ba, ikaw ba ay hindi rin matino ang iyong pag-iisip? Ulitin ko, kung alam mo na hindi matino si Pastor Quiboloy, logic lang po. At alam mo na siya, hindi matino at maraming kabugtutan na ginagawa. Ayan po, maski marami na kasi nagsasabi. Dinidefend mo pa rin. Dinidefend mo pa rin si Quiboloy. Ano ka, matino ba ang iyong pag-isip? I'll give you an example, mga Duterte ay sinusuportahan ang taong ito na hindi po matino. Ibig sabihin ba, hindi rin ba matino sila ang mga Duterte? Hindi matino ang pag-iisip nila? Pwede po, kasi tignan nyo ang nangyari sa press conference po na ginawa ng dating president and ng ating dating deputy secretary and currently now still the vice president of the Philippines. Gagawin ba yun ng matinong tao ang mga pinagsasabi na sa press con? Ulitin ko, Yan, yung mayroon po kasing ugnayan yan eh. Hindi matinong tao si Pastor Quiboloy. At siya po ay dinidefensahan mo. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka rin matino. At iyan po ay napatunayan sa press conference na ginawa ng Vice President. Hindi po matino ang isang taong nagpahayag ng kanyang gigilitin ang liig ng ating presidente at ipagtatapon ang bangkay ng papahukay na ay tatatapon niya ang bangkay ng Apulakay sa West Philippine Sea. Hindi po matino yan. Pero kalyado yan. Nung pagsuporta niya kay Apollo Quiboloy. So lahat ng politiko na sumusuporta kay Apollo Quiboloy, maski parte sila ng administrasyon, dapat wag niyong iboto kasi hindi rin matino ang kanilang pag-iisip. Kasali na dyan si Senator Amy, Bato, si Bongo. Okay. Wag natin po silang iboto because hindi po sila matino. Yan akin ang conclusion. Sabi ni GNL, another example of life being stranger than fiction. And then I foresee a movie telenovela of this time in the Philippines. Sa pelikula ito. I agree with GNL, pero gagawin nila siguro ang experience ng isang foreigner o yung latest po na nag-testify, si Leticia, whatever her name is. Kasi marami, umamin na nga yun sa States eh. Yung mga bulag po ng mga DDS, nagbubulag-bulagan sila. Pero sabi ko, kung hindi matino si Pastor Quiboloy, kung naniniwala ka matino si Pastor Quiboloy, hindi ka rin matino. Oh, okay. Kung matino ang pag-iisip mo, at ang yung iniidolo ay sinusuportahan ang hindi matinong tao, dapat mo po bang suportahan ang iniidolo mong yun? Tanong lang. Bigyan niyo ako ng counter-argument. Iba rito sa channel ni Tatay Jaffers. Okay? Bigyan niyo ako ng counter-argument. Kung magkakaroon kayo ng counter-argument kung bakit niyo patuloy na sinusuportahan ang mga DDS. Kaya I would like to beseech those who are silently viewing this LS of Tatay to please help Tatay grow his channel so more and more people will listen to his opinion. You might not like my opinion, but I can assure you that it is based on logic and credible news stories. Like when I debunk the attacks against me ng mga DDS, I debunk their statements by using actual news story. Okay? So if you want, kung gusto niyo hindi kayo malihis ng landas, mag-subscribe po kayo sa channel ni Tatay Jaffers na sinusulong ang isang matinong tao, matinong kandidatos para sa 2028 GIBO TEODORO. Don't forget na suportahan ang channels nila Kainaro, Trexibilia, si Rising Flag, si Papa B, At marami pang ba? Nandyan na si JDB, kay Maestro Paul. Suportahan po natin ang mga channel na ito. Salamat po sa inyong pakikinig at panunood. May God bless you and protect you as always. May God protect your loved ones and family. And see you in my next LS. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Bye. See you in my next LS po.